Video I'm going to be comparing the Tron movies. There's two of those to the Christmas Chronicle movies on Netflix. There's two of those. I've seen all of these films. I actually literally watched the Christmas Chronicle movies just today for the first time. When you look at highest score for each franchise, the original Tron movie from 1982 has a 73%. The first Christmas Chronicle movie has a 67%. When you look at lowest score, Tron Legacy, that came out back in 2010, has a 51%. The second Christmas Chronicle movie has a 66%. When you look at average score, Tron is an average of 62. Christmas Chronicle is an average of 66. So far, Christmas Chronicle has won 2 of the rounds, but Tron has won 1 of them. And then when you look at gap between lowest and highest score, well, you can tell which franchise is going to win already, because with Christmas Chronicle, gap of only 1%, whereas with Tron, it's a gap of 22%. So Christmas Chronicle will be winning no matter what, because it's won 3 of the rounds. But let's look at my personal opinion. When it comes to the original Tron movie, I think this is a good movie, but not a great one. When I think about classic films, is Tron one of my favorites? No, it isn't. There's quite a good amount of other classics that I think are definitely better than Tron. I mean, on a visual level, yeah, what was accomplished of the movie is certainly impressive. The way it used CGI, the look of the game, this game world is very interesting. When our main character is sucked into the game, we see all the designs, the way that the way that light is used, the way that all the different AI programs look. I think that is certainly memorable. The acting is good. I mean, the story makes sense. So, I mean, I think it works. But at the end of the day, the problem here is that because I don't feel like I really get to know the characters all that well, means that there's a certain amount of disconnect between me and the story. So I don't feel like I'm really as invested in it as I should be. It feels a little bit distant, a bit at arm's length away from us. So I think that there are other classics that are definitely more memorable, that you care about more. I mean, I like the world of Tron. I think there's definitely a good amount of things you can explore with it. I actually think that Tron Legacy is better than the original movie. I think that other people would disagree with that, but I thought with Legacy that I was more invested in the story and characters. I cared more than I did with the original movie. I like Jeff Bridges' performance. I think it's interesting what we learn about the character Kevin Flynn. There's a mystery set up about what happened with Kevin Flynn, where he went to, his son trying to figure that out. And it's ultimately powerful that Jeff Bridges, Kevin Flynn, makes a sacrifice in order to stop this program. When it comes to Christmas Chronicle, I think these movies are interesting because they're not exactly the same as other Christmas movies that I have seen. For example, I've watched the Santa Claus movies on Disney Plus. They're a bit different from Christmas Chronicle because of Santa Claus. First of all, you're dealing with the idea that this guy, played by Tim Allen, as a result of putting on Santa's clothing, is turned into the new Santa. And also with the Santa Claus movies, you have Jack Frost in there, and also Santa learning he needs to deal with the fact that his son's on the naughty list, and also find a Mrs. Claus, or else he'll stop being Santa. When it comes to the first Christmas Chronicle movie, this is about a brother and sister that aren't getting along very well. They lost their dad, who really cared about Christmas and was very enthusiastic about it, but after the dad passed away, the family hasn't cared as much about the holidays. And then the brother and sister end up learning about Santa. Actually, the sister already believed in Santa Claus, but the brother did not. And then the two of them end up on Santa's sleigh, which actually leads to things going wrong. Though by the end of the movie, you learn that, oh, things actually didn't really go wrong. Santa just pretended like they did. The sleigh actually ends up crashing. The reindeer are off somewhere else. Santa's trying to get his hat along with the sack of presents back. And throughout this journey, the brother and sister end up connecting with each other better. Thus, they have a stronger bond by the time the movie's over. And then with Christmas Chronicle 2, in this case, the young girl learns that her mom might get married to this guy Bob. At first, there's insecurity there because her dad died, so she doesn't want the family to forget about him. So she's afraid that if my mom marries this guy, she'll forget about my dad. And then she actually ends up at the North Pole. So unlike in the first film, she actually gets to see the whole village up in the North Pole along with Bob's kid named Jack. Also, we learn there's this elf who got really naughty because he thought that Santa didn't care about him, which led to him being turned into a human. So now this guy, Belsmickle, I think that's how you say his name, he at first is trying to he's trying to upstage Santa by turning the South Pole into this big thing so people will forget about the North Pole and Santa Claus. But ultimately, he actually realizes, oh, I still love Mr. and Mrs. Claus, even though I've been annoyed with them, resentful of them for a while. So he actually turns back into an elf, which is really heartwarming. And also, later on, the little girl actually gets to meet her dad when she and Santa end up going back in time to the year 1990. So she meets this boy and then learns, oh, this is actually a young version of my dad. So this guy doesn't know, obviously, that he's, well, going to, in the future, be my dad, because he's not grown up at this point. He's a little kid. But I know that he's going to end up be my dad. I never got to meet him before. Now I actually am getting to meet him for a bit. And also, by the end of the second movie, for the older brother Teddy, he gets to put this light on the Christmas tree, and then he sees his dad for just a little bit on the ornament. It's quite powerful. So I definitely enjoy both Christmas Chronicle movies. I think they're really good. I like they do something a little bit different when it comes to a Christmas movie. Santa definitely doesn't look the same as he does in other Christmas stories. At the end of the day, I'm going to choose the Christmas Chronicle franchise because I feel like I get more invested in those characters than the characters in Tron. That'll wrap things up for this video.